Well, hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Jake here with you. Going to be starting off on a couple of new projects here. My client has sent me a couple of these bad boys right here. This is the original Enterprise refit. This one doesn't, you can't do this one as the A or the refit because it just comes as the A. But later Polar Lights reissued this kit. And it came out to where you could build it as the A or the original. So we're going to be doing this one as the refit. He's sent me some special decals and stuff, and for a surprise later on for that one. But for what I'm going to be doing is this kit, since it's one of the original versions. Polar Lights, when it went back through and reissued this kit, it made some changes, and the the stand is a little bit different than the Polar Lights Round 2 version. So we're going to have to do a little bit of modification to that. Or actually, we're going to have to do a lot of modifications to the ship itself to get it studio movie, you know, the motion picture version accurate. And go through, make, you know, several changes to the lower saucer. I'm going to have to put some styrene in the bottom, and then putty over the holes where there's two bases, two clear pieces that hold the front of the saucer up, and then at the very back below the shuttle bay there's another stand that goes there. But what I'm going to do is I'm not going to use that. He's sending me a custom base that's going to be made, and I'm going to be using a different piece for the stand. So we'll get to that a little bit later, but right now I'll kind of show you what's going on. Let me swing you over here to the saucer and go from there. So let me turn my light on. I didn't want to blind y'all with me looking in the camera, but okay. What I've done is I've gone through and washed all my parts, and excuse me for the cough, I've been sick, so I'm still trying to get over it. I've gone through and washed all my parts with a little bit of detergent, and what I'm going to be doing here the next a little bit later on is going through and adding the sensor bands to the around the outside. But in order for me to do that, I had to go through and mark on each part of the saucer here where there's going to be lighting. And if you've noticed this kit, if you've had it before, they've got this wall that goes all the way around the inside of the saucer. Well, in order for you to pass light through the windows, you're going to have to do a little bit of modification to take those down. Some people will use a knurling tool with their compressor. Some of them will use. Some of us, I just use my Dremel with a cutout wheel, and then come back through and sanded it. But anywhere that there's going to be lights, you have to go through and make that modification. So that's what I've done, and so next I'm going to be putting on the sensor bands. But also, one thing I'm going to tell you is, I don't know if you've noticed this or not of any of the kits that y'all have made out there, but a couple of kits that I've made in the past, this bridge section is not completely screen accurate. So, and if you've noticed, right here around the BC deck, top of the BC deck, there's these little bands where they've raised up to where you can put the light down through them, but that's not completely accurate. So we're going to have to, in order to get it to movie studio accurate, we're going to have to sand these pieces off. And what I'll do is I'll put some strip styrene, and I'll zoom in here so you can see. What I'll have to do is we'll have to cut these pegs off to where it can sit. Excuse me, I didn't mean to throw that. Where I can move it around, and I'm gonna have to add some strip styrene here and here, and then around the side, basically where you see basically where you see these raised ledges. In order for us to get light through there, I'll have to raise it, and I'm not going to raise it, but maybe that much further, maybe a 1/8 inch, 1/16 of an inch, something like that, just enough to where we can get some 0805 SMDs through there to where it'll shine out real pretty for the registration number. We'll get that taken care of, and we're also going to have to cut a hole in this section here to pass the light up through, and I'll probably only take out, you know, just behind these holes here, just kind of give it opening where we can easily fit the wire through. So a lot of modifications to be done on this, and once we get this excuse me, once I get this cut, these tabs moved off, I can sand these pieces down and go through and get this bridge set to where, I don't know if you can see it or not, but if you've noticed, I'm sorry, I wasn't in shot there. There's these lines that go right through here, kind of these extra details, and I'm probably going to bring this bridge forward just to where it touches the back side of these detail markings here. So that way if you don't, you're going to have a problem with this lip right here shining forward onto your registration. So here in the next day or two, I'll have get this piece all set up, and I'm going to go ahead and off screen, I'll put these sensor band pieces on and go from there. But I might go ahead and take you through a couple of pieces. And if you notice, there's several different types of pieces here. There's two pieces that have edges on it. Well, those go right back here. One of them is the observation deck, which is going to sit right here, and we'll have a paragraphics photo etch piece that's going to sit right in here. So and then you have your other one that goes on the other side of the impulse deck. So what I'll do is go ahead and through, and what you want to do is don't be afraid to use a little bit of glue. Now some of you may ask, what kind of glue do you use, Jake? And I'll tell you, I use this plain Jane Testors tube for the styrene plastics. This is just as good as any of them. Some of them can use the liquid cement that's got the little metal rod for it. It works just as well. So what I'm going to do is go through here and add my glue to get this put on, and I might just go ahead and take you through all this and just add a few drops of it up here. And like I said, don't be afraid to use the glue. This stuff's very inexpensive. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that you get all your pieces level with the edge of the saucer. That way you don't have any lip. And that one's down, and you know, if you have any extra left over, you can just wipe it off. This tester's glue is real good for filling in. And what you can do is, I found out, and somebody once told me that I was watching one of his videos, that you can mix this with a little bit of white, what you call it, baking soda, and it fills in adds as a gap. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and put on the next piece. Put that on there, and then add my glue for there, and I'll add just a little bit of glue on the side of this other piece here. And you want to kind of pay attention to which ones are going. which ones you're doing, because there'll be a couple of pieces you're going to have to go on the port side wall. Make sure you butt it up. If not, if it doesn't completely work, you can add a little bit of putty, which is probably what I'll be doing. Going to make sure you don't have a lip, and then you can just take your rag and wipe any excess off. Alright, there's that piece, and we'll continue around. And again, I'll add my dab of glue up there on the top. I'll set this right down in here, like that. There's that. Now we're ready to continue on. And too, when you're doing this, there it is. When you're doing this, you're going to have a little bit of problems here getting some of the flack off, but I mean, it comes right off when you go through and sand some of this stuff. It comes right off. I said, don't worry about getting any excess on here. You can wipe it right. It wipes right off. Alright, that one looks pretty good, so we'll move on to the next piece. Got a little bit of flack here. Like I said, it just will come right off. And as I've always said, folks, don't panic. Take it, you have, good amount of time before this stuff completely sets. So you want to make sure that don't panic if you don't get it right the first time. This stuff comes right off with a little bit of acetone. You can scrape it right off. This piece is kind of giving me a little bit of a fit. Some of these have been sitting in the box for a while, so you take your wipe it right off. Make sure we have a good lip. Like I said, most of these joints are going to get closed up with putty. So right here is where we have the door, the docking door. So you want to kind of pay attention to which one it goes, into. Quite enough on there. And when you go through here and do your window cutting out, you're going to lose a couple of places for your pegs, but don't worry, there's plenty more there for you to work with that'll hold. Alright, looking good. So go on, continue on with the next piece. Alright, and down to the final the final piece here. Then what I do is, once he's been setting for a while, I'll go through there and add just a dollop of glue on the pegs that it's been sitting on to kind of hold it in a little bit, give it that extra little bit of reinforcement you're going to need. Alright, clean that tip off. Well, there's that. So, the next video, they're all in place now. They're all looking good. They all don't have any. I have one here that kind of slipped on me, but that's alright. That's an easy fix. So this might just be because the pieces are too short, but if they do, don't worry. You can put a little putty down inside here. They all look pretty good. No lips on them. So the next video I'll do, we'll come through here and I'll go ahead and have all these cut off and the hole cut, and then I'll go through with you and show you the steps to put on the styrene, the strip styrene. So again, folks, this is going to be a fun build. This client, we got wants all the bells and whistles to it, so we're going to have a lot of electronics to wire in, and go from there. So until then, we'll talk to you later, and happy modeling, everyone. See you around the community.